Good day, Commander. In this operation, we will go over the supply and infrastructure, without which any military campaign would not have been possible. In the previous part of this tutorial, we mentioned the key parameters of any unit, its ammo, fuel, and movement points. The supply system restores ammunition and fuel through infrastructure. Select the tank and attack the anti-aircraft gun defending the airfield. Great, now follow up with the infantry attack to finish it off. The enemy airfield is now left unprotected. Move the infantry inside and capture it. When you defeat the enemy unit in close combat, you can occupy its position regardless of your remaining movement points. The airfield has been captured. Now we can move our aircraft units here. The airfield provides supply to aircraft units, restoring their ammo and fuel on every landing. Additionally, aircraft units can acquire new equipment and be reinforced while landed on an airfield. We'll get back to it in another part of the tutorial. Now you have to capture the supply point near the airfield. Use aircraft units to support your ground troops. Select the bomber and attack the enemy. After the attack, you can move your bomber 1 hex away in order to free space for the next attacking aircraft unit. Do it by moving. Good. Now attack with the second bomber. The enemy unit is destroyed. Now we have to occupy the supply point. Use the infantry to make it happen. The supply point is in our hands. Unfortunately, it is severely damaged by our bombardment, so currently it does not provide supply. Open the supply point info screen by clicking on it with the middle mouse button. As you can see, all infrastructure has its own HP. If it goes down below 50% or lower, the facility ceases to function until its HP is restored and is higher than 50%. At the end of every turn, all infrastructure restores 20% HP. Close the info screen and select the supply point. This is the supply zone of the selected infrastructure facility, marked with the box icons on the hex grid. Currently, they are red in color as the supply point is damaged and not functioning. Thus, there's no supply right now. In a 1 hex range around the selected infrastructure, there is a service zone, marked with the wrench icons. In these hexes, your units can acquire or change equipment and be reinforced. However, in our case, even after restoring its HP, the supply point will not provide supply, as it is not connected to the supply network. The supply network is comprised of all the interconnected infrastructure on the map. Supply hubs and maritime hubs play a key role in the supply network. While supply points just redistribute the ammo and fuel to the nearby troops, the supply hubs generate ammo and fuel, providing the whole supply network with it. Maritime hubs work similarly, but only if there's a seaport under your control next to it. Consequently, without the connection to a supply or maritime hub, the supply points have nothing to redistribute to your troops. You can also see the connections between the different elements of infrastructure marked with supply lines. These lines connect all infrastructure facilities to the supply or maritime hubs. If the opponent cuts off the supply line, then a cut-off supply point or airfield ceases to provide supply. To cut off the supply line, it is enough to put your unit on any of the hexes it passes through, or any of the hexes adjacent to them, which will block it with the unit's zone of control. To land your aircraft units on the airfield, select each of them and click on the landing button in the Unit Actions panel. Click on the End Turn button. Select the tank unit. In order to restore the supply, you have to capture the enemy seaport along with the maritime hub. First, however, cut off the enemy infantry at the eastern outpost from the supply. To do it, move your tank unit into the designated hex. Select the supply point of the eastern outpost. The enemy in this area is now left without supply because of your maneuver. It is high time we take care of the coastal city. Select the infantry unit and move it to the designated hex. Now do the same with the second infantry unit. Click on the end turn button. The enemy has made an attempt to break through the blockade and restore supply, but it failed. Select the enemy's infantry unit that attacked our tank. Now select the supply point you have recently captured. Infrastructure HP has been restored, but there is still no supply since the supply point is not connected to the maritime hub. During a major operation in the upcoming campaign, such a situation can totally make the difference between victory and defeat, so you should pay close attention to your supply and take every opportunity to undermine the enemy's supply. Well, enough with this talk. To establish our own supply network, we have to occupy the seaport and the maritime hub. Also, we should not damage them too much. Click on the All tab next to the minimap to see all of your units in the Units panel at the bottom of the screen. Select the bomber and attack the enemy unit occupying the seaport. The seaport now only has 6 HP left. If we keep bombarding it, it will stop providing supply and we'll have to wait for its restoration. So we should attack the infantry in the adjacent hex instead. Select the second bomber and attack the infantry defending the maritime hub. We have to finish off the enemy artillery first so that it will not provide fire support to the infantry unit. You can learn more about fire support mechanics in part 5 of the tutorial. Select your infantry and attack, and then occupy the seaport. Excellent. Now the enemy infantry is left without artillery support, and you've taken the seaport. It provides supply to the naval units and allows them to acquire and change equipment. Located next to a seaport is usually a maritime hub. Only maritime hubs that have a seaport next to them and supply hubs can generate ammo and fuel and deliver it to all the other infrastructure through the supply network. It is time to finish this battle and re-establish our supply. Destroy the enemy with your 2nd Infantry Unit and occupy the maritime hub. Great, the primary objective is now accomplished. However, there's still a secondary objective left, to capture the eastern outpost. Click on the Return to Game button and attack the enemy infantry with your tank unit. Great, the enemy was defeated. Now there's only 1 infantry unit left to deal with, and the city will be ours. Move the tank to the designated hex. All of your units have finished their turn. Click on the End Turn button. Select your infantry unit. As you can see, the supply is now up and running, and the unit got its ammo resupplied. Now select the bomber. Select the tank and attack the infantry occupying the eastern outpost. The last of the enemy units has fallen. Now your troops are free to take the eastern outpost. Make it happen to conclude the operation. Congratulations, you've successfully finished the operation. Click on the Victory Progress bar in the top left corner of the screen, and then click on the Finish Operation button to exit to the tutorial menu.